It's time for Inside the Gamecocks, the show with Phil Mullinax and J.C. Sherbert.
So, how many of you would say you speak English fairly well, but with some difficulty?
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
You play to win the game.
Now, let's take it away, J.C. and Phil.
Happy Thursday, everyone. Inside the Gamecocks, the show. J.C. Sherbert here with you, along with Phil Mullinax. It's a game day, right? In certain corners of college football. Started thinking this morning when I woke up, I was like, man, the Gamecocks used to open on this Thursday. I didn't really go through and do the math. I'm not good at math unless I put my mind to it, right, Phil? But it was a long time up until the first of the Will Muschamp era when Carolina played at Vandy. They usually opened traditionally on this Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know. I kind of like the Saturday openers myself. Sometimes I did like the fact that, you got the nervousness and the Carolina game out of the way, and you could relax on Labor Day weekend and just kind of chill,
That's right. That's right.
Watch everybody else struggle and suffer or whatever. But it was, certainly, those were some really good moments. I'll never forget the first Spurrier game against Central Florida. The next year at Mississippi State, I was in Starkville for that. Marcus Lattimore's first game against Southern Miss in 2010 was a epic game. I mean, Southern Miss was kind of feel a lot like Georgia State coming in. Larry Fedora coached him then. That was back when he was a good coach, and he was
North Carolina ruined him.
Yeah, he went to the Tar Heels, and all of a sudden things were bad. But they came in and. Gosh, I remember there was a lot of drama before that game. There was some kind of compliance news where some guys maybe weren't going to be able to play, and everybody got nervous. And all of a sudden, everybody was ready to play, and the Gamecocks beat them pretty good. Went on to have a good season, but it was that was good. And then, honestly, the 2015 and 2016, Phil, were two games. One against North Carolina and Charlotte, where UNC ended up being like a 10-win team that year. Carolina, of course, was 3-9 and was a disaster, but the Gamecocks won. And also Muschamp's first game. I mean, look, say what you want about that era, but that would have been a bad loss. Even though Vandy did go to a bowl that year, and I think they were just and they did beat Tennessee. That was what Derek Mason was good at, right?
Right.
Beating Tennessee. The Gamecocks went up there and found a daggum way to win, right? 13-10 in that first game, and they wouldn't have gone to the postseason otherwise. So that I believe that was the last Thursday opener South Carolina's had. But anyway, good memories. But we have to wait 2 more days. Tennessee gets a kickoff against and I'll tell you this, Phil, too. What's interesting about it, since the Gamecocks have quit playing on Thursday nights, the Thursday night matchups are god awful.
Yeah, that's terrible. Yeah.
Tennessee's playing Ball in the SEC. I'll say that in the SEC. Tennessee's playing who? Ball State tonight.
Ball State. Yep. Oh yeah.
You think they're going to score like 70? I think. I think that's the only question about that game. Yeah, anyway, got a good show lined up for you today. My apologies to those of you that are sitting with bated breath for the poll question. I just put it up on the BigSpur.com. What is your favorite Gamecock game day tradition? 2001. Sandstorm, Gamecock Walk, which I think is a little underrated, or other. And you can answer that on Twitter or on the BigSpur.com. And Phil, I believe we have an early guest today, right?
Should be. Yep. Brad Crawford's going to jump in here at about 11:15.
11:15 today. And then we got Chris Phillips at 11:30, correct?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Back to back. This is a power hour. Right?
Oh, yeah.
A power hour. Of course, you also have the Nana Sports chat box, which is blowing up right now. Colin mentions the Pitt, West Virginia backyard brawl should be fun. They hate each other. They do.
Yep.
This is why I have a lot of sympathy for West Virginia fans. Number one, they're an outpost in the Big 12, right?
Right, yeah.
They have to fly. I think the closest school to West Virginia, maybe Iowa State, Can you imagine driving from Morgantown, West Virginia to Ames, Iowa, and be like, "Wow, this is really close." Yeah. Now it's not going to be that way for very much longer because Cincinnati's coming in. But can you imagine, like, your closest deal is Cincinnati? You know, and then you're like, "Oh, great, bring us Cincinnati." They've had both their rivals ripped away from them because they hate Virginia Tech as well. You remember Marcus Vick in Morgantown? I'll never forget. This is not Michael Vick. This is Marcus's brother, who was a good player, right? So Marcus runs for Marcus Vick. For those of you that just tune in, don't think Marcus Lattimore. Marcus Vick runs around the right side, I think, for about a 40-yard touchdown. It's at Morgantown, West Virginia, and he just flags them the bird. And Virginia Tech they don't like each other either. So they've been stripped of their rivals. Even if they got to play Virginia, Virginia just doesn't really acknowledge West Virginia, right? They're really stuck up. But even if they got to play Virginia or somebody, or even some of the teams they used to play, shoot, give them Miami. I think those fans would be happy. But, Texas Tech, West Virginia, you going to get up for that?
No.
No. I mean, it's fun for a couple of years for Oklahoma and Texas to come in, right? And then you're like, oh, okay.
I know.
So anyway, Nana's Porch chat box blowing up. I'm going to go through it like we always do. 2 days till kickoff, folks. It's very exciting. I have a kickoff tonight. I got to go to a freshman football game.
Oh, nice.
The Moose is playing out of town. We're going over to the big city of Aurora, or Wayne's World.
That's right.
Wayne's World. So we're going to get in the little the Pacer. Isn't that what Garth drove as the Pacer?
Oh, I thought it was a Gremlin.
Yeah. I'm dumb.
Nah.
So Craig rolls 2 days. Nana Sports chat box. By the way, hour number 1 of Inside the Gamecocks, this show, as always, brought to you by Cindy Searfoss, Realtor, Caldwell Banker Kane in the upstate, my hometown of Spartanburg, South Carolina. Daniel Morgan Avenue. Many of you have taken advantage of her services, buying a house, selling a house. And I'm going to tell you this, after a long conversation with my fiance last night, I may be calling Cindy pretty soon.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry. Wait a minute. I said that wrong. People are going to get worried. Her and I, may be calling Cindy pretty soon. I didn't want anybody to think anything was up. What happened? She finally realized she could do better, didn't she, JC? Anyway, so be sure to contact Cindy. You'll hear the ad and all that good stuff. Craig says 2 days. I'm with you, Craig. John says the Bellingham, Washington Bureau of TBS is reporting for duty. # 2 more days. I can actually feel the excitement in John's chat here. I guess you call it a chat, text, whatever. Clint Morrison says 2 days indeed, Craig. Jeff Fowler, morning, gents. Go Cox and Semper Fi. As always, what do we tell him after Semper Fi, Phil?
Thank you for your service.
Amen. Austin says, we made it to September, y'all. Heck yeah. Xavier says, listening from Omak, Washington, by way of Wenatchee, Washington. Yeah, I'm jealous of Xavier and John out there in the Northwest, man. I mean, that's beautiful country. I say that because I'm lucky. Every time I've been to Washington State, Seattle, Portland, wherever, I've been there probably 6, 7, 8 times because they used to have the opening out there for work. It's always been sunny.
Yeah. You've never really had the full experience then.
No, I haven't. No, they're like, it's only sunny 10% of the time out here, you lucky dog. And man, that place though, Phil, when it's sunny, there's no more beautiful place. I mean, it's all lush and green because it rains all the time, and it's always wet and stuff like that.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah,
gorgeous part of the country, especially when it's hot. During these dog days of now September. But anyway, jealous of you guys out there. You guys, when Carolina kicks off against Arkansas and Georgia, you get a nice 9 a.m. kickoff. So
right.
Kegs and eggs, brother. Kegs and eggs.
Yep.
Sean says 55 and a half hours till kickoff. Don't tell me that, Sean. I'm going to start a countdown clock on my phone. Ticking away. Also says chance of rain Saturday. Sure hope that'll hold off. I would imagine that only helps Georgia State. I don't know.
Yeah.
They say, usually think, okay, when it rains, it helps the run game. But like Steve Spurrier used to say this. He's like, well, it's not the rain. Shoot, it's the wind.
Right.
And he's like, well, the wind is what's going to screw your passing game up. So if it's windy, that's one thing. He said in the rain, the receivers know where they're going. Okay. So they can run routes and all that. The DBs don't. So you have the chance of slipping, that kind of thing. And I don't know. I mean, I tend to think we all kind of sit around sometimes when there's a game, and if there's a 10-day forecast where there's rain, people kind of panic and keep an eye on it. And, gosh, there's a weather thread on the Big Spur that started about 10 years ago. I think it's got 1 million views.
Oh, jeez.
so during hurricane season and whenever, it's always good. So
I'm good so long as there's no lightning. That's the thing. Yeah.
Ed asked a very good house cleaning question here, and we'll do that. Then we're going to get to Brad Crawford. JC, have you scrapped the morning monologue, or did I miss something? Nobody was listening to it, Ed. I looked at the numbers, and it wasn't even close to even a normal podcast that I used to do on my own. So I'm going to reevaluate that and figure that out. I enjoyed doing it, and some people liked it, but kind of when you look at it, it was like, well, nobody's listening. So it's like, hello, that kind of thing. All right, we're going to get to Brad Crawford.
Let's bring Brad
for his second time here at Inside the Gamecocks show. Brad, how are you, buddy?
Hey, man, thanks for having me today. I was listening to y'all's weather discussion. Let me tell you, JC, some of our most clicked content during the season is weather delays, what channel the game's on. I mean, lightning delays. We might see that Saturday night at Williams-Brice.
I would, the only thing that I would be probably not happy about would be if they call it off, kind of like Florida did a few years ago against Idaho. Right. I mean, that could have cost Will Muschamp his job. Really,
I think it'll be fine. Yeah, they're gonna play the game.
Yeah, I think so too. It's like 20-30%, and rain's not bad. It is lightning that can kind of get you off. But yeah, you think about that Will Muschamp year at Florida, his last year. They canceled the game against, I think, Idaho because of lightning. So they only had 11 games, and then they lost unbelievably to LSU and South Carolina. And then he didn't coach the bowl, so he would have been sitting on 9 wins maybe that year. Had 3 unbelievable things, and then the bowl game.
There's a reason SEC head coaches schedule 3 non-conference games where they're double-digit favorites in. Like you need those wins in the SEC.
There's no doubt about it. Well, Brad, first of all, I saw some of your reaction yesterday to the NIL announcement. Yep. And I also know that a lot of Gamecock fans, which is 98% of our audience, there's a couple of clubs of people that tune in and just to make fun of us. But so everybody knows the tweet you put out over the summer about awesome things coming, revolutionary, all that. Let's just get this out in the open. Yesterday's announcement was huge. That's not necessarily what you were tweeting about, though.
It's not. That's part of it. That's just the tip of the iceberg, man. I won't reveal in today's show, but there's a lot. I mean, a lot of big things coming at South Carolina, man. Like I mentioned in July, coming out of media days, it's a great time to be a Gamecock fan right now. I think the university has a lot of forward-thinking employees, very, very innovative folks like Chance Miller. So, he deserves a lot of credit, though. By the way, I saw his spot on y'all's show yesterday, and just the praise he should receive for this, being someone who's been ahead of the curve, through this NIL partnership, South Carolina sort of becomes a facilitator of sorts, for prospective student athletes to kind of build their brands from a marketing standpoint.
I think so. And nowadays, right, Phil, that's huge, right?
I mean, it's driving a lot of things for sure, especially, basketball and baseball, I think, are really big. People always go to football to start, but it's huge in basketball and baseball right now.
I think so.
Put us ahead of the game, man.
Yeah, I was going to say, I just think recruiting has just significantly changed in the NIL era. I mean, not only are you recruiting a player now, you're also sort of buying into that player's brand. In terms of some of these high-profile 4- and 5-star guys, there's a reason elite football players sign with Bama because they're expecting, a return on their investment a few years later in the NFL draft. So now in South Carolina, you have a fully staffed group that's going to help you land these NIL deals in college and sort of build your social profile in your career that, makes you more marketable down the line for future earnings.
Oh, absolutely. Sure. And you look at a guy like Nicholas Harbor, who's a dual sport athlete, who I keep saying he's going to be in the Olympics. I would be surprised if he wasn't. At some point, I mean, nobody's that fast and that big, man. Usain Bolt's probably the only other guy that compares. And you want that marketability. I mean, and it's not even just about football for him. It's about, an Olympic sport. So I thought it was a gigantic move. I think that it's one that really can help. And like you mentioned, Bama, they sell that, Brad, down there better than anybody they have for 15 years. Here's where we can get you. Nick Saban always talks about creating value for his players. We like to create value. That's what he says. And South Carolina's well on their way to doing that. Well, you're a shoe guy, so I'll ask you about this other topic here.
I am.
So
I do not have any Nike or Jumpman scoop.
I know there's no scoop there. Your opinion about the shoe deal. I was not anti Under Armour when they switched from Russell, right? Because they were with Russell. And Spurrier didn't even like Russell. Spurrier got there. Actually, Spurrier's first year, they wore Reebok cleats. He's like, we're not wearing these Russell cleats. We're just wearing Reebok, And then they got the Under Armour deal. I thought it was fine at the time. I've grown sort of – I've kind of gotten over Under Armour a little bit. But where do you think they should go apparel-wise? Because that's, from what my understanding, they're not in a big rush to end that contract, but it will come up soon. And when that happens, there's a good chance they switch brands.
I mean, if you go, JC, to any high school recruiting event, any Elite 11, go to any high school game in South Carolina on Friday nights, I mean, you're looking at probably 10% of teams are still with Under Armour. It's just a brand that, in my opinion, it's not dying. Obviously, Under Armour is still profitable. As you mentioned, it's a very lucrative deal right now for South Carolina, but jumping into Adidas or Nike or even Jumpman, Oklahoma, Florida, Michigan, those three schools are sort of Jumpman's flagship along with UNC, but that's a recruiting tool. We talk about uniforms and helmets making a difference and facilities. I've written a ton the last 5 or 6 years on facilities and how big of an impact that is. But, also it's what you wear on your feet. Gamecock recruits walk into that football building. They see 3 or 4 models that have Under Armour on, but just imagine, the impact of, seeing a Jumpman on your shirt or, wearing some of Nike's Vapor cleats. Oregon, by the way, is debuting a new cleat Saturday against Georgia that is just, millions of impressions, and viewers are going to see that and think, man, Oregon looks awesome this weekend.
Yeah, that's Oregon's done a great, almost better than any other. I kind of like what Adidas has been doing too with some of the uniforms. I thought it was actually during the Muschamp era when it hit me. I was like, well, Will has kind of this philosophy that the kids get to pick the uniforms, and I was like, well, that's great. It's kind of like an Oregon type. We're going to have a different uniform every week, and you got 2 primary colors or whatever. I was like, super, but then like with what they did with it, I was like, all you're basically doing is mixing and matching colors. You look like Texas Tech half the time.
Yeah, and South Carolina sort of became everyone was waiting for a uniform reveal on Thursday afternoon rather than are they going to win the game Saturday?
Exactly, and that's when they Shane Beamer's changed. According to our friends at the Spurs Up show, by the way, garnet jerseys, white helmets, white pants. So just your normal Gamecock home uniform. So how do you see this game this weekend, Brad? Georgia State, South Carolina. Then I'm going to get your take on the rest of the SEC games, starting with tonight in the Vols, and if they will hang 75 plus on or 77 plus on Ball State. But go ahead with Georgia State. I mean, I kind of see it as a tough Group of 5 team coming to Columbia.
Yeah, this is a team that could certainly win the Sun Belt. Could probably win 9 games this year after a loss Saturday night. But this is a team that likes to run the football. I think every analyst has probably said this all throughout the week. Georgia State was 70-30 run pass last season. Likes to slow the game down a bit. That's Sean Elliott's MO. He likes to lean on that offensive line. Several top-end running backs back that I think that they have 3 guys that rushed for at least 550 last season, including Jam, who was a safety at South Carolina a few years ago. But I think it comes down to the Gamecocks being able to control the line of scrimmage. If the front 7 plays well, I don't see how Georgia State's going to be able to sustain drives in this game. That being said, South Carolina did struggle against the run at times last season. And like I said, Georgia State has that veteran backfield. But I think if Georgia State's able to, get 5 to 6 yards of play on first down, then that's the kind of danger zone the Gamecocks don't want to be in, where, you're sort of battling possessions and needing to score touchdowns when you touch the ball. But I think Marcus Satterfield can go somewhat vanilla Saturday night and still win this game. And I know 12 points is sort of a weird line, but I think Gamecocks at least win by a touchdown and get into week 2 against Arkansas with not a lot of tape being shown.
I think, that's huge right there. Carolina too, when it's a 12-point spread, yep. I think Auburn and North Carolina both last year were 12-point spreads. So maybe that's a lucky number that doesn't. Okay, starting tonight, you got a couple of SEC games, Ball State, Tennessee. I think the only question is, how many points will Tennessee score? I think if you're Tennessee and you only get to like 35 or 40, their fans may be a little disgruntled, disappointed. Of course, they got Pitt the next week. Pitt plays tonight at Heinz Field against West Virginia. And so that's interesting. Missouri, Louisiana Tech's the other one. And then you have a full weekend of games. How do you see some of these SEC games and really around the country, Brad? You cover the whole country, kind of play it out. What intrigues you about the schedule for the weekend?
Yeah, man, I'll give you a lock of the week first. Arkansas -6. I like Arkansas a lot. I've been high on the Hogs since, before spring practice, when I knew Jefferson would be a developed quarterback, a year later in the Kendall Breyer system. Getting Drew Sanders from Alabama. Look, he's a former 5-star signee who backed up Dallas Turner and Will Anderson. I got to play in front of those 2 guys, right? He's going to be a splashy linebacker at Arkansas. Really, really one of the SEC's most impactful transfers, in my opinion. So I like Arkansas big over Cincinnati. Cincinnati had 9 NFL draft picks, school record.
Yeah.
Luke Fickell, man, he's able to sign 3-star guys and develop these players into NFL draft picks. So that's a guy who's going to get a big-time top 10 job in the near future. Tennessee tonight, though, JC, I like Hendon Hooker, probably over-under touchdowns at like 4.5. He's going to have a big game. He'll probably play about, the first series into the third quarter. Ball State coach, I listened to his presser on Tuesday, and he didn't sound all that confident going into noon. As a six touchdown underdog, I mean, that's a game where you want to try to stay injury-free if you're Tennessee and get to week 2 with a pretty big win.
Definitely, and I'm telling you this, that I know the Vols lost to Pitt last year, and so the perception is, well, they lost early, they're a different team. Pitt's good. Okay, I think that West Virginia, that'll be a heck of a game tonight with West Virginia. There's a lot of positivity about Keaton Slovis up there, and a lot of folks think they could repeat as ACC champs. There's a lot of talk about NC State, a lot of talk about Clemson, Miami, but then
what are your thoughts on NC State? I've kind of compared NC State to South Carolina over the years.
Yeah.
A lot of our listeners know that I live in Fayetteville, so I'm in Tar Heel, NC State country. But man, this seems like the year that it could really all come together if you're a Wolfpack fan.
It looks like it, and what's impressive to me about it, Brad, they've done it with mostly 3-star kids from North Carolina.
Yeah.
And they've evaluated really, really well. I remember 2017, and I remember that defense they had and how many draft picks they have on the front 7. Yeah. And they held the Gamecocks to 220 yards and lost, and they lost to Wake Forest and finished 8-4. But NC State is a popular pick. We actually have a listener that sent in his playoff picks, and he picked NC State to go to the playoff. So how about that?
I'm not quite that high, but they can get to the New Year's Six. That game at Clemson, though, man, is going to be really tough for State to win.
I would not bet against Dabo and that crowd in that game. I mean, they may end up winning at 10-3. But I think I wouldn't bet against him. I wouldn't bet against him.
Georgia Clemson all over, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you think Georgia Tech will hang with Clemson or nah on Monday night?
So I'm looking forward to watching that game because I want to see how many snaps that Cade Klubnik takes.
Yeah.
Nabo has said all summer that, the quarterback rotation is going to be first team Uyunglele and the 5-star freshman is going to play. I think we all know, the writing's on the wall for DJ. If he doesn't play well the first couple of weeks of September, this is going to be Cade's offense. Brandon Streeter, Clemson's OC, said this week that, Cade's going to certainly play Monday night against Georgia Tech. Jeff Collins, man, he needs to win something this year.
Yeah,
he's on the hottest seat in the ACC, and for some reason, man, no one can win at Georgia Tech despite being in Atlanta with so many athletes at the high school level. I mean, I don't understand why Georgia Tech's not a better job than it is, and why people can't consistently win there.
Paul Johnson was so cavalier about recruiting, cavalier. He just so basically he left a roster that's a lot like the Citadel. And with his system, they were able to hang with anybody. Dude, they would go beat Florida State. They would always hang in the balance. They go beat Florida State 49-45 and turn around and struggle with Jacksonville State, 42 to 35 or something like that. I mean, that's just how they rolled. Georgia Tech is traditionally too good of a program, Brad, for me, in my opinion, to be that radical. You don't have to do that there.
Yeah.
Jeff Collins, good recruiter. The portals killed him, and I don't think he does himself any favors by doing things like not putting out a depth chart. And I was going to say, I actually watched the Georgia Tech Clemson game from last year yesterday afternoon. And every time Jahmyr Gibbs touched the ball, though, like Miles Murphy or somebody else was in his face. Like, no wonder he left Georgia Tech for Bama. Now he's going to have actual holes to run through, Yeah, I'm on the radio in Tuscaloosa every Tuesday with Barry Sanderson and Wimp Sanderson, and I've said for a while that's my Heisman dark horse. I don't know if he's gonna get enough touches to do it because they're deep at the running back and they're gonna throw it all over the place. But, all right, anyway, we are up against it, Brad. We got another guest coming on, so unfortunately our time must come to an end.
Thank you guys, man.
Bad, man. But it's always great talking ball. We're gonna have you on many times this season. Keep killing it with the content and stuff, man. It's always a great read and always a good talk. And next time we talk with you, the Gamecocks will have at least a game in the book. So it's always exciting this time of year.
Sounds good, fellas. Start the season 1-0.
Hey, thanks, right, Brad. Have a good one. All right, Brad Crawford, 24/7 Sports. Please check his stuff out. Sometimes Brad, his writing to me feels real interesting because you don't always agree with him.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always a good read. It's always an intriguing read, and I think that's the sign of being good at your job, and he is. So congratulations to Brad for all his success. And we're going to get a break in, right? Yep. And then our boy Chris Phillips. It's a high energy Thursday, right, man?
Let's get pumped.
Can't wait to have Chris in. And for those of you that want more of interaction with Chris and I'm on the Spurs Up show. Immediately following this at 1:15 Eastern. We do that every Thursday, but going to catch up with Chris here soon, and we'll take a break and come right back.
Just as your State Farm agent combines good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates, you can combine your home, auto, life, or small business insurance with Tony Pope State Farm Insurance today. And guess what you'll get? That's right, even more good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates. In fact, Tony Pope State Farm is your go-to agent anywhere in South Carolina, North Carolina, or Georgia for the service you deserve at the price you want. So try combining your home, life, auto, and or small business insurance today. Tony Pope State Farm has been in business for more than 30 years and can handle anything you need in the tri-state area. Once again, Tony Pope State Farm will help you mix and match perfectly. Call 843-851-2222 or visit tonypope.com today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
If you're a listener, I feel strongly that if you're in the upstate and are in need of real estate services, Cindy Searfoss is your go-to person. Searfoss of Caldwell Banker Kane can help you
with any of your realty needs right there in the upstate of South Carolina, Greenville, Spartanburg, Anderson, Oconee, Pickens, wherever you are. Cindy can help you with that. She's married to a diehard Gamecock fan, has been in the upstate for more than 35 years. Right there in my hometown of Spartanburg, Daniel Morgan Avenue. Contact Cindy, 864-414-5271, or email csearfoss, CSEARFOSS, at cbcaine.com, CBCAINE. That's Cindy Searfoss, a proud sponsor of the Inside the Gamecocks podcast. Check her out. We've already gotten several emails from listeners that are very impressed with her professionalism and her ability to help you with your real estate needs. 864-414-5271, Cindy Searfoss of Caldwell Banker Kane.
If you're looking to sell or buy multifamily property right here in South Carolina, the Burgesson team of RE/MAX at the Lake can help you get to closing fast and easy. Adam and Derek Burgesson both are very proud Gamecocks and are more than happy to assist you with any of your commercial real estate needs all across the state. You can email Adam at aburgesson@remax.net. That's ABERGESON at remax.net to get your next deal underway. The Burgesson team, proud sponsors of Inside the Gamecocks.
Family vacations, a new car, a new boat, all cost money, but you don't necessarily have to make more to afford any of that if you can save cash that's flying out the window now. iHelp Consulting can help you finally get the kids to Disney World, upgrade the minivan, or drop that new boat in the water next summer. Let Daniel and iHelp Consulting consult with you. No fees, just savings. You pay them a percentage of those savings. Save on essential services, credit card fees, you name it. Let them find it. These folks are incredible. iHelpConsulting.com. How can I help you?
Attention golfers of all ages and skill sets. Former Gamecock golfer Meredith Taylor will be a full-time golf instructor in the Midlands of South Carolina very, very soon. You want to take advantage of this opportunity. If you're like me and you got to get a whole lot better at golf, or even if you're looking to refine your swing, Meredith is the person you need to go to. She's competing in her final USGA Mid-Amateur Tournament this summer before going full-time into teaching and coaching individuals. If you're in South Carolina, Meredith will be conducting in-person golf lessons at the Country Club of Lexington, half-hour, hour, on course. She'll play 9 or 18 with you. If you're out of state, though, this is really exciting. She'll be conducting virtual lessons. You can send in your swing for her expert analysis. Also, in November, she'll launch an online course with video instruction for all ages and skill levels. Meredith has 20-plus years of knowledge, former SEC golfer, all of that. So contact her on Twitter at MerTaylor, at MERTAYLOR, or go to McKellarEnterprises.org. McKellar spelled MCKELLAR, Enterprises.org. Her email's on the website, so you can connect with her for any other questions. Go get your golf game in order. Take advantage of Meredith Taylor and her services.
Hey, Mo Cowboy here from the Carolina Gamecocks. You're listening to Inside the Gamecocks, the show with JC and Phil.
Thanks, Mo.
Yeah, thanks, Mo. Gonna have a big game Saturday.
Man, I can't wait to see this dude play and
start
and fly around. I mean, it's I'm probably more excited about that than anything, and except this next segment. Chris Phillips from the Spurs Up Show. Man, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. What's going on? How are you guys? It's almost here. Finally.
Fired up. I know you are. You had some scoop this morning. Uniform tidbits, so that they're going to go with like the classic normal white garnet white, right?
Yeah, just a guy who knows a guy over here. Nah, it's the same guy from last year that I don't know. I don't know exactly who he knows, but was right every game. So yeah, I mean, I think what we all expect. White garnet white. They've been rocking garnet face masks all preseason. So I don't think anything too crazy or out of the ordinary, anything we didn't expect. But dude, uniforms, whatever. I'm just excited for kickoff. I'm so happy that, this time next week, and we're finally going to have football on the field to talk about. Again, I know we're all just really exhausted with the preseason content. Not that we don't love it, but it's like we are having the same combos over and over. And now we're finally talking about, the Gamecocks hitting somebody else. There's literally college football on tonight. I'm excited to watch the backyard brawl and get an early glimpse at Tennessee and Mizzou. And man, we're here, man. We're here. It feels good. I'll be in Columbia tomorrow and throughout the weekend. And I just can't wait, man. Can't wait to be around a bunch of great Gamecocks. And everything that comes with it, man, the pageantry, the tradition, obviously the people being at the tailgate, all the festivities, and then, of course, toe meeting leather. And again, we'll start to get some answers Saturday nights. I mean, it's going to be a blast, and just so happy it's finally back.
Yeah, me too. 2 SEC teams in action tonight. Missouri, forgive me because I always gloss over this. You look and you go, "Oh, Tennessee's playing. That's the SEC game," and then you forget about Missouri.
Yeah, dude, I think that Mizzou game is going to be a really good game. I think La Tech plus 20 and a half is easy money, but we'll see. We'll see. And then I think Tennessee might score 60 tonight, but I mean, Ball State. This might be the start of Hendon Hooker's Heisman hopeful season, if you will. That they want to keep him in there, get him 5 or 6 touchdowns, but. Either way, man, football's back. Thank God.
Yeah, I guess they renamed Heinz Field. It's Acrisure Stadium.
Yep, Acrisure Stadium.
I'm calling it Heinz Field. I don't give a damn. I'm calling it Heinz Field. I'm not playing this game anymore.
It's like still calling Sir Big Spur, right? Nobody.
Right. Who's going to stop you? Yeah.
So your take on the general. Because we've discussed this. Your take on that, on what they renamed it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll keep it short and sweet because, again, I think most folks are probably pretty exhausted with the mascot talk. But, no, I think it was a good move by USC. I'm obviously happy they didn't give it some absurd name like some of the suggestions we saw and heard. But, it's simple. I'm a big less is more guy across the board. So, I'm glad it's one of those things where the one thing you didn't want to do was create a storyline out of something where there shouldn't be a storyline. So if you'd have given it one of those stupid names, right, it'd have been a talking point all year. Now it's like, all right, it's the general. It has historical significance. This is a non-story in 48 hours. Let's just keep it moving. So, I think most folks will probably still call the mascot Sir Big Spur, which, I mean, if you want to do that, it's totally fine. I'm not going to hold it against you. I think I actually I've actually got the piece that Van and Beth gave me that is the mascot drawing, and it says Sir Big Spur on it. And I've got the little card. You guys have probably seen the cards they would give out that had the picture and it said Sir Big Spur. So, I mean, I think most folks are going to think of Sir Big Spur, but yeah, I think having a generic name was a smart move. I mean, again, the one thing you didn't want to create was some dumb storyline. So whatever, man. Like I said, this is why I'm glad Kickoff's here, because the fact we're going to talk about real football on the field, guys hitting each other, I would much rather discuss that than what we named the Gamecock, to be honest.
Yeah, that's definitely the case.
But good move by the school. I think good move by the school.
I thought it was fine. We had David Cloninger on, and he kind of was – He wanted to call. He said they should call it Sumter, right? And I think for a lot of reasons they didn't go with the specific name, but the general's fine. I mean, in my mind, I went the General's Chicken, which is delicious sometimes.
I thought of the general. I thought of the General Insurance. Honestly.
Yeah.
That was the first thing that.
That's funny little commercial for Logar Insurance. General now. All right, so this game this weekend, obviously, Chris, I think we're going to find out pretty quick this season how much better South Carolina's run defense is. This team is going to come in, and they're going to run it 6 ways from Sunday. They're going to run the quarterback. They're going to run the outside zone. They're going to run inside zone. They're going to run zone read. It's the App State offense with some modifications. They do have a new OC that they kind of promoted from within. A lot of players coming back, love their quarterback. Obviously, and I don't think since he's retired, I don't think he'll mind me saying this. Ellis Johnson told me when Jam Williams committed, we're sitting there talking at a camp one summer. He's like, he's a ball carrier. Ellis knows a thing or two about defensive backs, and Dan, he's right. Jam is a much better offensive player than defensive player. Just not that he just wasn't big enough, right? But really good with the ball in his hands. They're coming in here fired up. It was almost a little scary hearing Sean Elliott talk because it wasn't sort of the guy that chest bumps everybody. He was just kind of had this low key intensity. I'm like, wow,
quiet confidence.
They're fired up. This is their best team they've ever had. So your key matchups in this game. What are the keys for Carolina to go out and have a successful opener?
Well, I mean, I think JC and Phil is such an interesting game because, we talk and we say that, in season openers, you don't want to draw conclusions and you don't want to overreact. But I do think this game is just really important on the line of scrimmage, because the number one thing I want to see, whether the margin of victory is 14 or 17 or 20 or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Whether it's 10, I just want to see a team be in control and specifically be in control up front at the line of scrimmage. It's a game one, right? There's probably going to be some procedure penalties. This is going to be, hopefully this is a football team like we saw last year that's going to get better from week 1 to week 13, right? But we when you look back at last season, we saw it from the jump up front, especially on the offensive line. And we ignored it, right? We wrote it off as, well, it's just game one. But I remember leaving the EIU game and just thinking, we ran for 260, but I was like, the way we did it, it just felt like it was a struggle, and it shouldn't have been a struggle against those guys. And obviously we saw that just lingered throughout the entire season. So, I haven't gone. I'll dive into actually JC a little bit later today for our podcast more. I'll dive into specifically, the individual player matchups and keys the game and stuff like that. But I mean, I think obviously, it's very simple line of scrimmage in this football game because again, like you mentioned, Sean Elliott, we know what he's all about. He's all about physicality. They want to run the football, right? I was talking yesterday with Anthony Treesh, a Pro Football Focus. He was talking, they have one of the highest run rates, in college football, at least last year. They love to run the football. And why wouldn't you with the guys they have in their backfield, Tucker Gregg and Jemias Williams, obviously both guys that are Doak Walker Award preseason watch list guys. So, I think for them, if I was looking at it from the Georgia State side, I think what their key would be is, South Carolina's got all these new shiny toys led by Spencer Rattler. Their best defense is going to be their offense because I don't think they're going to be very good defensively. Just keep Rattler and those weapons off the field, run the football, churn clock, win at the point of attack, if you will. And I think that's how that's probably, I would assume, going to be their game plan to turn this into a fourth quarter game, right? Because I think that's got to be the goal if you're Georgia State. Just get to the fourth quarter within striking distance, whether that's 7, 10, what have you. Where I think is really intriguing is if South Carolina can get out to a lead, like I was talking with Anthony yesterday, Georgia State is just not a football team that is built to come back from a 14, 20-point deficit. I mean, again, they want to run the ball. If South Carolina can get them in some obvious third and longs and passing situations, I think the secondary is going to eat. I think that's where you're going to have the opportunity to produce big plays. But, I mean, the top thing, again, when you're talking in regards to matchups without getting into, the specific players like I'll do tomorrow, I mean, the key matchup is just line of scrimmage both sides. I mean, because I'm just, if you can't have success up front against Georgia State, and it's all due respect to Georgia State, like you said, Sean Elliott's best football team, respect the hell out of Coach Elliott. But if you can't have success against Georgia State up front, man, Arkansas and Georgia, those seem like even taller tasks than they already are. So I just want to see a football team start to finish, be in control, execute the game plan. Again, I'm not saying let's go score 50. I'm not saying, and I think a lot of fans, I'm sure you guys have seen all week on social media, fans are, we're going to win this game 45-7, 49-10. Like, I don't see that type of ball game. I just don't see that kind of game. Again, Georgia State is a quality football team. They won't be intimidated in the SEC environment. They've gone on the road and beaten an SEC team before. But if the Gamecocks can win this game by, God, if they win this game by 20 or more, I mean, that's an incredible performance in my opinion. Again, there's a reason the spread is where it's at, 12, 12.5, 13, wherever you're getting it at. But I just want to see a team be in control and establish that, we are the bigger, more physical group. We're the Power Five. You're the Group of Five. We're supposed to push you around. You know what I mean? So that's the key matchup for me. I'd like to – my number one goal is to leave that game Saturday night at minimum just feeling encouraged about what I saw up front. That's what it all comes down to me because, I mean, JC, Phil, is anybody going to debate that South Carolina should have the out-athlete Georgia State on the outside or, they've got the better quarterback, God forbid. I mean, that's not really even debate. It's just up front. That's where we need to see it because this is a line that on both sides got pushed around at times by everybody. Not just in like A&M, Clemson, Georgia. Everybody pushed them around to some degree. So I would just like to see, man, set the tone for this year. Not saying you got to win by 50, but I do think the way you win is going to be important. And it all starts on the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football.
Yeah, I think Carolina's O-line is and Phil, you'd probably agree here. I think they do have an advantage. They have a chance to go out because what Georgia State's going to do, if they get the best, if Carolina can't block, right? what they do is they put you in third and more than 7, and then you have to pass. Okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
And their defense, it may not be very good at just lining up mano a mano and playing that game, but they blitz from all over the place. It's a lot like a Tyrone Nix defense from when he's at Southern Miss before he came to Carolina and coached under Spurrier, where they're sending people from all over, and because they have to. They're Georgia. I mean, they're Georgia State. You're not going to get 5 stars up front on the line of scrimmage on defense.
Mm-hmm.
And so the danger for me for Carolina's offense in this game, if they cannot get a push, is you get in those 3rd and 7 situations. That could be advantage Georgia State just because it's a game one. What they do defensively in those situations can be confusing to anybody. And the worry is you're sitting there and everything's going fine. You get in that situation, then boom, somebody comes off the edge and it wrecks your whole series, and it keeps happening, or there's a turnover in a tight game, something like that. But I agree with you, Chris. I think South Carolina is best served to line up, get behind that line, which they've heard all offseason how bad they played last year. I mean, those guys are what? They're older than the Beatles. I mean, those guys have been there forever. Right. This is a lot of those guys' last go arounds, right? Get behind that line. Marshawn Lloyd has something to prove, and I pray to the Lord that he has a great year because he's just a super person and he's worked hard.
I tell you what, guys, if that line and that running game has a bad year, it will just be because they stink. Because I don't say that to be like, just flat out rude, but like they have heard all preseason how bad they are. That's all they've heard is how bad. Like if you can't take all that and take it upon yourself to go whoop somebody's ass and go push somebody around, like if I was somebody on that line, I'd be like, I am sick and tired of hearing how bad we are.
And to your point,
I'm so sick of it. I mean, if they can't get it done, at least just make a drastic improvement. It's like, well, you just don't have it because there's certainly no lack of motivation.
And to your earlier point too, Chris, is like if we don't see it Saturday, I mean, because you lose all your size advantages for the next 2 weeks, and you're really going to get exposed. But that's
I mean, the transitive property doesn't work in college football, but it's like how can you reasonably go, well, we didn't really have a great performance against Georgia State, but we're definitely going to push Arkansas.
Yeah, we're going to go in there and push Arkansas.
It's just like last year, there were Illinois State, Carolina pretty well. I mean, Illinois State. Oh, not Illinois State. That was I actually was talking to my fiance about Illinois State earlier today because they play Wisconsin and Illinois State's her alma mater. Go Redbirds. Anyway, Eastern Illinois. Next to that Charleston Southern team in 19 that they played. That's the worst team I've ever seen Carolina play. Yet there were moments in that game where you saw Rudy Rudiger come up through, busted the line and for a tackle of loss. And so we kind of forgot about it a little bit, right? Because they won 46-0. It was a nice win, whatever. But the next week at East Carolina, you saw what happened. ECU's coaches watched that tape. They crowded the line of scrimmage. They said, you are not going to run the football on us. We are going to attack you up front. And I'll tell you this right now. Obviously, there's some coaches that have been at Georgia State who are currently at Georgia State who I know after they beat Tennessee a couple of years ago. I call it what happened. That Tennessee offensive line had a couple of future NFL players on it. They hadn't gelled yet, and that's probably why a lot of people are glad Will Friend's at Auburn now. And they said, look, JC, Tennessee had the worst offensive line we've ever seen. Offensive line. Now, and what they did, they just blitzed the crap out of Garantano, who crapped his pants under pressure to begin with. I have a feeling that's kind of the plan on defense for them coming in on Saturday night. They're just going to send pressure, attack that offensive line. Why wouldn't you? Until they prove they can do it, why wouldn't you? But I kind of think Carolina has to go the other way, just line up and say, all right, you want to do that? We're just going going to run it right over you, and that's what's going to
And the biggest game changer, too, is that now you actually have a real threat of downfield passing game and a quarterback that can make play. I mean, last year, why wouldn't you have done that, right? We're going to crowd the box and make Zeb Noland and one proven, not even proven. I mean, at that point, Josh Vann wasn't a proven guy. Like, make him beat us. So, there are some different dynamics for sure, but, yeah, we need to see that line play well.
What's your take on Juice Wells? Somebody on the chat box, we're just going to go out there and kill him.
We're going to go kill him. I love it, dude. I love it. This is, I had Corey Peoples on the podcast. I don't know if you guys saw that, but he's the secondary coach for Georgia State, and great dude and everything. But, when I chatted with him, it was what you'd expect, a lot of coach speak. I mean, just a lot of coach speak. And I totally understand. These coaches have to attack this thing a certain way. I love guys having personalities. Like, dude, it's a game. You know what I mean? I love the flair. I love the confidence. Maybe I'm saying that a little bit selfishly because, we're in a content creation space. A quote like that, I mean, as soon as I heard that, I said, well, this is going on a graphic and this is about to go crazy. You know what I mean? So, like, selfishly, I guess we love it. But, like, dude, there's nothing wrong. Like, I think bulletin board material is such, like, an overhyped thing. Like, if you need bulletin board material to be like, oh, well, he said this. Well, now I'm really fired up to play. It's like, you were never ready to play in the first place. So exactly. I think it's good because, I mean, as you guys know, once that ball is snapped and that first play is run and you hit each other, it's like, all right, well, now it's football. All that talking, and all that, none of that matters. None of that even matters. I think as fans, we just get in our own heads because we've experienced the pain of defeat. And so we believe in, like, these jinxes. And of course, when you're South Carolina, the chicken curse and like, oh my God, let's not jinx anything. We got to knock on wood, everything we say. It's like, dude, I love it. I love it, man. I get Juice Wells has never played an SEC game and he's never, never played a game at the Power 5 level, if you will, but to hell with it, man. Let's have some swag. Let's have some confidence. You look back to when DJ Swearinger was here, and I guess he wasn't chirping with the media every day, but like, there's nothing. I'd much rather a team believe in themselves and have confidence. And Juice Wells says something like that. And guess what? All his teammates are going to play their tails off to make sure he doesn't look like a fool, right? So, I mean, I loved it. I loved it. It didn't bother me. I'm not one of those people that says, oh, no, don't say that. I'm like, give me more, dude. Like why not? You know what I mean? I'm not saying, talk out of your butt. Don't write a check that your team can't cash. But, hey, man, I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. I loved every second of it.
I like Juice Wells because he's a Virginia. So you watch Virginia Tech over the years, right? And then the few times Virginia has been good, they have these dogs, these guys that just love football, that have the swagger about them and all that. Juice is from Richmond, Virginia, man. I'm telling you, and that's why South Carolina needs to continue to recruit up there because that's kind of the type of guy that Virginia Tech built a great program around. You're under radar, underappreciated. Kid that just loves ball, is fast, athletic, whatever. I think Juice is going to have a phenomenal season. People are going to be very happy. You didn't see Juice Wells in the spring game. He called an out pass. He made some catches here or there. Gamecock fans, you didn't see him. Right. You're going to see him.
You didn't really see him. You didn't really see him.
Tino Sunseri, who coached at Bama before he went to James Madison with Signetti up there, was quoted in the newspaper. This is not an anonymous quote. This is not an inside, scoop, VIP room piece, anything like that. He was quoted in a newspaper saying there's no difference between Juice Wells and the receivers we had at Bama. So take that for what it's worth. From a Sunseri, Sal's kid, who's a pretty good player.
And I mean, like I said, I see in the comments like Jam Bennett saying that the quote's going to be hanging in the locker room. Like, who gives a damn? They still got to go cover him. What difference does it make? It's not going to make a Georgia State guy cover him better or a D lineman tackle harder. Or like, dude, they talk crap on the field to each other. Like, if the guys were mic'd up every game, bro, you'd hear jawing back and forth. You think Cam Smith ain't jawing at guys? That dude loves it. He loves it. I mean, and it's fine. Dude. It's part of the game. They go back and forth each other. They talk crap. I mean, it is what it is, man. It's gamesmanship. It's part of the game. Hey, Jordan used to talk crap to his opponents, get in their heads. You think Juice Wells ain't going to be talking crap to DBs at Georgia State? I mean, I love it, dude. I just, as someone that, again, I played sports, whatever, like, I love it. I love the back and forth. Again, don't write a check you can't cash. But, hey, if Juice Wells is that confident in his abilities, I love it. Go out and do it.
I'm with you there, Chris. I like I like this one. I like a little talk.
Remember when Debo was asked about who was it, the DB, and he was like, "Who?" And I know it didn't work out, but like, so that's one of those scenarios where, like, all right, well, make sure you have a team behind you that can back it up, but pick and choose your spots. That's all I'm saying. Pick and choose your spots.
Exactly. All right, so Chris, when do you normally give a prediction on your podcast on Fridays, or
on the Friday podcast? So this season I'll drop my predictions every single Friday. I mean, I can tell you this. Obviously, I'm someone that is bold, that will voice my opinion without any fear. I mean, I'm not picking Georgia State to win the game or anything. Obviously, I don't think I'll go ahead and spoil that for everybody. I do see this being a football game that. I don't know in regards to margin of victory yet. I picked 34-14 over the summer, and I'll be honest, there hadn't been a ton that's really changed where I sit on that. I get the feeling it's going to be a game that is close early. I mean, again, Georgia State's going to come out swinging. They're going to give you the best shot. I could see it being a close halftime score. I just don't know how Georgia State's going to keep up with South Carolina's athletes. I mean, when you start going down the list of all the running backs, Juice, Van, Stogg, Bell, does Georgia State really have the horses to keep up? And again, you factor in, if South Carolina is able to get out ahead, how is Georgia State offensively going to keep up, right? So, I think you will see, the Panthers come out and give South Carolina a good fight early. Again, they won't be intimidated. Sean Elliott will have his football team ready to play and put forth their best effort. But, I will say, I'll go ahead and go on record. I got the Gamecocks getting the win. I'll lock in my score tomorrow. But I do think the Gamecocks will start 1-0. Again, how do they do it, though? I think that's more so the question, right? I'll tell you guys this. Throughout the course of the preseason, I've never slipped into a state of fear that South Carolina might lose this game. I know we've had some kind of fun hypothetical conversations with guys like Tim Hill and others who have asked me, what if? But I've never really slipped into a fear of losing. It's more so about how do you win this game, which I think is important.
Yeah. I think so. I think so. And you look at it, and it's like, and one of our Garnet Rooster here on the chat box points out, Georgia State lost 59-17 to North Carolina last year.
Right.
They don't always scare the bejesus out of teams. It's been Auburn and Auburn and Tennessee, but knowing Sean, he's going to get them prepared kind of like that, But it's also a season opener. I think they're going to come in with confidence, but I think once adversity strikes them and the lights are going crazy, I mean, it's a new Williams-Brice. I mean, come on, man. I don't know. I don't know that they can hang athletically and all that, but and Chris, on my prediction, I've thought 35-21 for like a month. Yeah. I got to 51-21 yesterday after carpool because I started thinking, I was like, Georgia State's got a lot of starters coming back defensively, but they're not that good defensively. South Carolina will be able to run the football and neutralize those exotic blitzes. And then I got home and I was like, I'm just going to go 35-21. I was like, I got 51.
Throw up a 50 burger. I'm all game for that.
Throw up a half 100. That'll quiet the Marcus Sanders.
Yeah, at least for a week. At least
for a week, and all that. Well, Chris, man, looking forward to talking to you right after this show.
Yeah.
Tell everybody where they can find your swag there, the gear. I've been encouraging people to go shop and buy stuff.
Yeah, tsus.stores where you can get the merch. We're at the Spurs Up Show across all social media channels. The Spurs Up Show on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts. The Daily Crow, our live show, airs noon to 2, so it's about to start now. And but yeah, tsus.store. We also have merchandise in Rivals in Florence, South Carolina, and Todd Moore in downtown Columbia. So
nice.
Check it out.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Hey, I'll talk to you here about 1:15.
Looking forward to it. JC, Phil, appreciate you guys. We'll talk soon.
Thanks,
always,
Chris.
Thank you.
Take care.
Mm-hmm.
Always fun to have Chris Phillips from the Spurs Up Show. Don't forget, folks, yours truly pops in the Spurs Up Show at 1:15 for 30 minutes a week. So, love it. I love doing all this media, Phil. I've been doing more media.
Man, you're getting around.
Yeah, I'm getting around. I really am. I'm kind of thankful I don't have a heavy schedule for today because I'm going to probably, go to the kids' game at 4. The freshman, the Moose is playing.
Nice.
The Moose is playing, and go to the freshman game, and then come home, have a few pops, watch a little ball. Speaking of ball, I want to remind everyone that the Big Spur Pod is our Twitter account, and Inside the Gamecocks, the show, is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in the men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. They recently launched the ultimate men's hygiene bundle, the Performance Package. Phil, did you get your Performance Package?
I did. I love it. Got the lawnmower 4.0, got some toner and below-the-waist deodorant. Yeah, sounds great. Nice
Good
bag.
stuff. Real refreshing. And you, our loyal listeners, can get a deal on the Performance Package or anything else at manscaped.com using code BIGSPUR, BIGSPUR. It's just Big Spur, just like our website. 20% off, free worldwide shipping, manscaped.com. It's pretty awesome. It not only, did the Performance Package bring me the lawnmower, it brought the weed whacker, right?
Yes,
so if you're growing, if you're like me, sometimes you don't always shave your face, but you got to watch your ears and nose. I mean, ear hair is awful, right? It's terrible. Well, the weed whacker takes care of it. It neutralizes all ear hair and nose hair. You don't want big old hairs hanging out your nose. That's disgusting. So Manscaped can take care of your entire grooming life, and we're here to tell you that you can get a discount. Again, code BIGSPUR, manscaped.com, 20% off, free worldwide shipping. Manscaped is a proud sponsor of the Inside the Gamecocks, the show. I got to quit putting the in front of the inside because it's inside of the Inside the Gamecocks podcast, but it's Inside the Gamecocks, the show. You don't put you got to move the.
The Inside the Gamecocks show. Yeah, that's right.
All right, our chat boxers are going crazy.
I know it. We got to get through that, and that's some mailbag to clean out too.
Bunch of mailbag too. So hour number 2 is going to be dedicated to you guys, our loyal fans, and you get to hear me and Phil. Thanks to Brad, and so thanks so much to Chris for coming on. Chris brings it. He brings the energy every single time, every single week. So really happy with the way the first hour went, and we'll be back with the second hour after these messages.
If you're a listener, I feel strongly that if you're in the upstate and are in need of real estate services, Cindy Searfoss is your go-to person. Searfoss of Caldwell Banker Kane can help you with any of your realty needs right there in the upstate of South Carolina, Greenville, Spartanburg, Anderson, Oconee, Pickens, wherever you are. Cindy can help you with that. She's married to a diehard Gamecock fan, has been in the upstate for more than 35 years. Right there in my hometown of Spartanburg, Daniel Morgan Avenue. Contact Cindy, 864-414-5271, or email csearfoss, CSEARFOSS, at cbcaine.com, CBCAINE. That's Cindy Searfoss, a proud sponsor of the Inside the Gamecocks podcast. Check her out. We've already gotten several emails from listeners that are very impressed with her professionalism and her ability to help you with your real estate needs. 864-414-5271, Cindy Searfoss of Caldwell Banker Kane.
If you're looking to sell or buy multifamily property right here in South Carolina, the Burgesson team of RE/MAX at the Lake can help you get to closing fast and easy. Adam and Derek Burgesson both are very proud Gamecocks and are more than happy to assist you with any of your commercial real estate needs all across the state. You can email Adam at aburgesson@remax.net. That's ABERGESON at remax.net to get your next deal underway. The Burgesson team, proud sponsors of Inside the Gamecocks.
Hey man, are you sick and tired of your business computer guy?
Yes, he takes forever to call me back and doesn't always respond to the requests.
Yeah, same here. I'm paying him good money. I constantly have issues, and I'm worried he's not backing up my network and securing it properly.
Oh, I feel that, man. My head hurts, but I have a good lead on a good idea. I'm calling your boy Matthew Odom today from Heritage Digital. Heritage Digital is an IT firm that specializes in making sure your IT network runs like a dream. If you have 1 or 500 employees, it doesn't matter. They do it all for one monthly fee and have clients from South Carolina all the way to California.
Yeah, I heard that monthly fee's low too, so I don't know why I didn't even think of that. Do you have 843-699-1001 as Matt's contact number?
Yeah, man, I sure do that. Or you can go to heritagedigital.com.
Man, I hear they do a no-cost assessment. Boy, this will help me.
Yeah, I bet.
I'm getting on that and encouraging everyone else to do the same. Heritage Digital, 843-699-1001 or heritagedigital.com, a proud sponsor of Inside the Gamecocks, the show.
Family vacations, a new car, a new boat, all cost money, but you don't necessarily have to make more to afford any of that if you can save cash that's flying out the window now. iHelp Consulting can help you finally get the kids to Disney World, upgrade the minivan, or drop that new boat in the water next summer. Let Daniel and iHelp Consulting consult with you. No fees, just savings. You pay them a percentage of those savings. Save on essential services, credit card fees, you name it. Let them find it. These folks are incredible. iHelpConsulting.com. How can I help you?
Hey folks, JC here. I've told you about Nana's Porch over and over again. They sponsor our chat box on the show. Don't take my word for it, though. I wanted you to hear from Gamecock pitcher Noah Hall about our sponsor, Nana's Porch. Nana'sPorch.com. Go there. Food truck, catering, whatever you need. Take it away, Noah.
What's up, Gamecock fans? This is pitcher Noah Hall. If you want some delicious food for your event, I suggest visiting Nana'sPorch.com today to find out what they all have to offer. It's really good Southern cuisine based out of Charlotte, my hometown. I hope you guys go check it out. Go Cox and go Nanas.
This is JC's fiance, Nat. Life is all about making sacrifices. I now sleep next to the human troll doll. I'm taking one for the team. Go Gamecocks. Now back to JC and Phil.
Welcome back, everybody. Second hour Inside the Gamecocks, the show.
By the way, I want to give a shout out to our listeners. Yesterday, obviously, we had some pretty good guests. But yesterday we set a new record for listens, downloads, total audience. It looks like the word is spreading, and that's because of you guys, and I appreciate that so much. I'm honored. I want to give another house cleaning note here about the show. If you guys have noticed, the commercials, you know, Phil and I are performance artists. We're not audio artists, right?
And that's even looser on my end.
Some of the levels are, I mean, it blows my earphones out. We're working to fix that. Don't worry. We're working on upgrading so it sounds more like a radio show and all that. So just want to let you guys know we're not oblivious to all that, and we certainly appreciate you guys listening and all that good stuff. So what we're going to do, we're going to get into the Nana's Porch chat box heavily and catch up on that because you guys have been going crazy. And then we're going to the iHelp Consulting Mailbag big time and getting that thing called up because there's been a couple of questions in the mailbag that are long and then they're in depth and they're good discussion points. Mm-hmm. But with 5 minutes to go in the show, it's like, you know, you don't want to like waste it, right?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
They're good questions, Phil, I think. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's so we're going to get to those. So the second hour of today is all about you guys. So it's all about the loyal, great fans of our show. And so I'm going to catch up. Colin says Pitt, West Virginia should be fun. John says, and Ed, answer the morning monologue. I'm going to try to do something with that. Maybe I'll do like a news brief or something. I just don't, the format wasn't there. And then, like I said, nobody was listening, but I'll figure something out because I think there's something to be said for like, you know, in that spot. So I'll figure that out. Sean says, I love the Veterans Day halftime ceremony. John comes back. If West Virginia loses, what's the over-under on burning sofas? Hell, what if they win?
God, yeah, I don't think it matters.
It's like, we're burning sofas anyway. You know,
sofas will be burnt in Morgantown either way.
Adam has a good question. Do we have any shot with Chris Peel? Yes, you know, that's a kid I've never kind of felt, and it's more of a gut feeling than any kind of inside info. I've never really felt like Carolina was in a great space with him. He's going to the Georgia-Oregon game this weekend. But I don't know. You know, Hale McGranahan, who's probably more connected with that and the actual day-to-day recruiting stuff than me. I mean, I'm I'm connected to it, but I'm not as connected as he is. He's got in every recruiting cycle, Hale has one guy like this where I'm like, Carolina's not getting him. And, and Hale, I don't know about that. Hey, Carolina ends up getting him. So that's the Hale special this year. So I'm not going to rule it out. Obviously, you'd feel better about it if he made multiple visits and all that. Obviously, you'd feel better about it if Georgia decided they were full at corner. So we'll see sort of what happens there. What's the kickoff weather forecast? I've seen different scenarios. Well, Daddy-O, man, I've got two different weather apps. One will tell me it's raining and the sun's shining outside. And then one will tell me the sun's shining when it's raining. and those are up to the minute weather apps. So I don't know. I heard, I think we're going to get some rain in Columbia during the day on Saturday. But I think by kickoff, it should be fine. That's the consensus for what I've heard. Clint says back in the late 90s when I had season tickets, I used to go by a newsstand across from Bob Jones and get a copy of the State and read it along with Spurs and Feathers at our tailgate. Yeah, I know the newsstand you're talking about right there on Pleasantburg.
Oh, Hampton.
Hampton.
Oh, yeah. No, it is on. The newsstand is on North Pleasantburg. Yeah.
North Pleasantburg. I know that newsstand, and
it's a vape shop.
Right, that's before we had it's a vape shop.
It's a vape shop now.
Jeez.
Isn't everything turning into that?
R.I.P. print journalism.
Yeah, no doubt.
The rise of the vape shops, right?
Hey, you know what though? In that Manscaped performance package we got, did you notice that there is a newsprint like fold out that came with it? I smelled it. Like, oh, I haven't smelled that in ages.
And one of my favorite things when I was in college, and this makes me old. I'd go I'd take $10 out the ATM. When I was at USC Upstate, roll over to Heron Circle, get me a Greenville News, Spartanburg Herald Journal, read all of it. Sit at the Waffle House and eat a bacon or sausage, egg, and cheese sandwich with hash browns and coffee. It only cost me $5.
Those were the days.
I'd have change left over after doing all that.
Right.
Now I go to the store and get 3 Cherry Coke Zeros and it's $20. That's not $20. It's not that bad in Illinois. Sooner or later it will be though, because the governor up here will be like, I think we're gonna. He's this big old dude, JB Pritzker racing. I think we're gonna start taxing sodas. Oh God, this is a disaster. We're moving back soon though. We're probably like after a couple of conversations this week, we're probably so close to doing it sooner than you guys think. So, good Lord, this place. Anyway, they play high school football on freaking Saturdays. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
But no, that brought back a lot of memories there, Clint. Those newsstands were awesome, especially when you get Gamecock stuff, because in the upstate, it's the orange fog, I guess, and it's like when you didn't have the internet, it was hard to get material. It was hard to get the games on the radio half the time.
Yeah,
up there, So I'm shocked. I'm a Gamecock fan based on all that. I mean, seriously, like Carolina in Spartanburg, you would pull out, like my mother loved my 102.5, right, and that's still around, believe it or not. So my mother would listen to it all the time. And then, you Saturdays, Clemson has a 4-hour FM Tiger tailgate show with like the legendary Russ Castle. Yep. Loving freaking Hudson was on it. I mean, and then the Gamecock game's about on, and it's like, and you turn it on, it's like, all my fucking high spiraling kickers. Sucked.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised that. I mean, look, we have to be hardcore having grown up there. But that brought back a lot of memories. Clint Austin says it's an impossible poll question. It is. That's why I put it up. 2001 Gamecock Walk, Sandstorm, or other. Man, I love them all. And some people are like 2001 needs to be updated. I don't agree. or they play Sandstorm too much. I don't agree. The Gamecock walk, though, and it's kind of funny because Will Muschamp, after every win, was always like, it starts at the Gamecock walk, you know? And that just goes through my mind and replays. But, man, that Gamecock walk has turned into something huge, I think. I think that, you look at the crowd that lines up and you look at the look on everybody's face. It's a rallying point, man, as far as the pregame stuff goes. I'll never want them to not do 2001. I wish to God, actually, that they'd play the Pirates of the Caribbean song again. And you'd actually have Steve Spurrier still up there, even though he's not the coach anymore. He is the winningest coach in school history. And going, time for Carolina football. I mean, I'd love that. I'd love that. It's time for Carolina football. You know, I mean, Steve back up there. I don't care that he's Florida doing it, whatever. Just put him back up there, man. And I love that. You know, it's time for Carolina football, man. That fires you up. And I love the Welcome to Williams-Brice thing. I mean, but I think, and Austin, this is why I put the poll question up, and I thought about it. I thought the other day, I was like, this Gamecock walk thing is an emerging part of the game day experience.
Right.
The crowds just get bigger, and I can't wait to see what it looks like Saturday night. I mean,
it's going to be crazy.
I mean, if the spring game was any indication, it was unbelievable. So, and Austin did say, I'm going to go against the grain and vote for Gamecock walk. There's nothing like seeing those dudes walk by you, all that.
Yeah.
John's asking Xavier about the Metroplex out in Clint says Umi Zulu visiting for the UGA game. Hope that helps with Harbor. So my understanding is also Big Tree Babalade. Hey, there's a little scoop here. I don't know if that's been reported anywhere, but Babalade is coming in as well. And I guess that probably means Zavari Sandy will be there too. All the DC kids.
We're gonna carpool.
Carpool. Will gives a weather forecast. Rains mostly during the day. Night looks good. Clint says, or Craig says that's good news. Blah blah blah. Everybody's talking about Brad's beard. This is old. Hey, welcome, Todd. Put Todd up
Todd.
here.
Yeah, Todd. Welcome.
Todd, yeah. Way to
Happy
go,
to have you.
Thank you for joining us. Tiffany says, it's here, folks. If you love college football, it's Christmas Eve. It is.
We're there.
I'm just so excited. Penn State and Purdue, West Virginia. I'm telling you this too. Most of you folks know South Carolina State. You know, you're from South Carolina. I'm gonna tell you this. I don't think they're gonna beat UCF because I don't think they're gonna be able to stop Gus's offense with John Reese Plumlee running the ball. But I think they're gonna put the fear of God in them in the first couple quarters. Trust me, I think Bennett Swaggart, former Gamecock quarterback, who's their offensive coordinator, is a rising star. Shaquan Davis, their wide receiver, is a 6'5", reminds you of A.J. Green, Sidney Rice type of guy. He's going to play in the NFL. And that program has a lot of momentum right now after knocking off prime time in the Bowl last year and winning the HBCU national championship. Just watch that game. I mean, it may be 28-0 after the first quarter. But South Carolina State, I'm telling you, I think they're going to put a scare into UCF. If I'm wrong, I'll come on tomorrow and eat my White Sox buzzer. Just kidding. 8JM2 calls Brad Crawford Brad ass.
Brad ass, the man.
You're a Brad ass. Yeah.
Brad is awesome.
We love Brad. Bryce says Chance Miller is about to cement himself as a Gamecock legend, and 8JM2 says about to.
I think he may have just done it.
I'm a big fan. I'm going to be honest. Chance has been there a while. Until I kind of got involved with like Carolina Rise and sort of started knowing the inner workings of things and got to know people. When you're in the media or you have a media operation, I don't even like to call myself media or a journalist because it's just kind of the way that profession is these days in all aspects of life. You don't have an adversarial relationship with folks, but people are guarded and you don't kind of, but getting to know those two, or like who we had on yesterday, Chance and Hillary, from a professional standpoint, I'm just impressed.
Yeah.
And I've got to know people at Carolina over the years, and honestly, sometimes I haven't been impressed, but I've been impressed with those two, and I think that there's probably more people than them, that are doing good things behind the scenes we're probably just not aware of. And I'll say it right now: if Chance Miller is not the next athletic director of South Carolina, then Chance Miller has a gigantic job that's bigger than that.
Yeah, somewhere else, you're right.
And I pray that the university and the powers that be don't do like you did with the play-by-play, where you lost Mike Morgan, because Mike's got a better job now. He'll never come back. I mean,
right.
You never say never. I'm not speaking for him, but the money would have to be insane or something like that. Mike works for ESPN. Mike would have gladly been the voice of the Gamecocks, and a good one. And let's put Todd there. So don't. I pray the powers that be at Carolina don't pull some crap like that. And because there is a former player that's an AD at a school that doesn't have football that would be a horrible, horrible fit at South Carolina. No offense to him.
Right.
You take it. I'm not going to mention his name. Even you guys can probably figure it out. But don't you take that guy over Chance Miller? You're a blithering idiot. And anybody that wants to do that to me, I'm not going to call you dumb right now. I need you to do some research and then get back to me because you need to get informed a little more.
Mm-hmm.
Tiffany says we'll not watch the Rocky Horror Picture Show tonight. I actually dislike the Vols more than Clemson. Refuse to acknowledge their existence. I hope they fall into the abyss. Tiffany, they've been close to the abyss for a while.
Yeah, they're teetering on the edge.
Yeah, they've been in the wilderness for 15 years.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they are wandering the wilderness.
I used to dislike Tennessee back in the 90s quite a bit. I lived in Tennessee for a while, and so I got to know some of their fans. I'm not saying I don't ever really pull for them to win, right?
Right. Yeah.
But I do have a dear friend of mine that's a diehard Tennessee fan. Shout out to Mama Sherry, who's fired up. She's probably already poured her first liquor drink today. in Cumming, Georgia. She's down there in Forsyth County. Shout out. I know she's not even listening because she's a Tennessee fan, but she's already fired up and nervous that Ball State's going to come in there and upset them. Don't worry, Mama Sherry. It's going to be all right. Bryce says time to go to Nike or Adidas if Jordan Brand works. I think the idea with the Jordan Brand is get Dawn Staley involved.
I mean, that's what it'll take, and I think she could do it.
8JM2. Imagine how many recruits we lost to Clemson because of Under Armour. I don't think you've lost any Clemson because of Under Armour. I think you lost recruits to Clemson because Clemson's good.
Yeah. They started winning and we weren't.
Carolina's in transition, so that's the thing. Daddy O says we've evolved light years since the days of bike coaches shorts. I used to have one of the worst coaches I ever played for in middle school. Thank God, only 1 year. A guy that wore those biker coaches shorts all the time.
I remember we're having bike baseball pants too. I think if I remember that same shoe. Yeah.
My dad called him panty waist. Ed says, any chance of adding a betting segment to the Thursday show? JB and Goldwater had some dude from Vegas each week. I'm going to look into that. Phil, we need to look into that. So not to sound like Ricky Bobby or anything, I'm contractually obligated to mention Taco Bell. CBS has a deal with Caesars online. And so let me see if I can get somebody from Caesars and if it will be okay. And this is not super duper affiliated with CBS. But I want to make sure I'm not pissing anybody off. So let me check and see if somebody from Caesars can come on. If not, I got an email the other day from somebody that would love to come on the show that's part of one of these odds things. So, Ed, that's a good idea. Ed, I really appreciate the feedback for this show. Craig says Mo Caba's going to blast Jam Williams. Mark it down. Blah, blah, blah. Farty. Nice name. Not that Sandstorm isn't cool, but 2001 is the best tradition by a decent margin. I get it. And I agree. I don't agree with 8JM2 about 2001 is decent. Sandstorm is our program. I don't know. The externally, I think it probably depends on your age. First time they did Sandstorm was 13 years ago. 2001's been around since 84, 83. Clint says JC's a huge Dave Dorn fan.
Obviously.
We're all big NC State fans this season and every season for at least one game. Now, look, who do I pull for when NC State plays Clemson?
Yeah. Go Dave.
No comment. No comment. No comment. I
do enjoy watching it on my laptop.
I'll be honest. I'll say even so sports gambling in Illinois is legal. So you get an app. I don't ever put more than $5-10 a game on it. I try to be very not do it with my heart, and that's good because sometimes I'll win. You're right. Even when I bet on Clemson and it's a safe bet, I don't even feel good about it. I mean, I've won probably more money on Clemson than any other team, but I don't feel good about it. I just don't. I mean, I'm like, I'll sit there because, part of the reason you put $5 on a game or something is because you have a rooting interest, right?
Right.
You're not just watching it for you're watching it, but you also have you're pulling for a team. But I don't ever with Clemson. I'll just play the spread and turn the game off. if it's unless I'm betting on their opponent. And then I'm watching every play.
That's right.
So anyway, that's good. Carolina football is a sandstorm, blah, blah. Go through. Jan, that's my boy, my good friend. Jan says, enjoy Brad Crawford. Brad's a great guest. We love Brad. We love Brad's beard. 8JM2 says Georgia Tech will win going away. Man, their roster's not that good. Now, hey, look. I did see where E.J. Jenkins was doing some good things down there, former Gamecock. So that's good. Tiffany needs Clemson to implode. Doesn't everybody? John, JC want to come through Seawells. Man, I would definitely come through Seawells, but I'm not going to be there. Sucks, right? That's what we do. Bad Brad says it'll always be Heinz Field. Go Steelers. I agree. I'm not even acknowledging. I don't even know how to pronounce what the hell they're calling it now.
For sure.
J-Rock says, I think Missouri might actually finish last in the East this year. It's interesting. They could. I'm telling you this. It's like there's so many mixed opinions because, one of our first early guests when we started the show, Phil, was Michael Bratton.
Yep.
He thinks people are sleeping on Missouri. Missouri's going to go to Jordan-Hare and beat Auburn in September. And then you have other people that are like, they're terrible. So it's kind of one of those things. Darius Clucker, that would have been good. I'm there. Now we can put the chicken on the general insurance commercials with Shaq and the little cartoon general from, I don't ever. Jan comes back. Garnet Rooster does point out Georgia State lost to UNC 59-17. Jan says, is it a game? You have to open up the playbook and allow Arkansas a sneak peek of our preparation. I don't know. Jan, that's an interesting point because you think about that. But listening to Marcus Satterfield, I'll say this could either be a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, I don't know how to take that.
I don't know how to take anything he says. And it's just like, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut if I have a negative impulse until there's something negative that happens. But
Keith Alsop's of the opinion that we should throw absolutely everything at them.
Yeah.
Open the playbook up.
Yeah,
that way,
everybody more to prepare for.
Yeah, that way Barry Odom's got something to think about. Too much, hopefully, but
Yeah, but something Marcus did say in his press conference yesterday was it changes week to week, and that was I don't know. I'm just not I'm not a big fan of throwing out the play. You know, every coach does this. You have different plays that work against different teams. Steve Spurrier did it. You know, you look at how his teams played. You know, they never really did the same thing 2 weeks in a row. So I guess that's okay. I just worry based on the nuance of this offense and sort of what happened last year. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, Tiffany says, J. Rob, by the way, put this prediction up. Garnet Rooster says USC 38-13.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah, he's on down there. I'm scrolling. J. Rock is right behind him with a 38-17 prediction. Tiffany says, I think Alshon told every DB he lined up against they were his B. Rightfully so. Most of them were. I mean, those dang NFL guys that played for Bama that year certainly were.
They all talk junk.
Yeah, everybody talks. And I agree with Chris to a certain extent on that. But I also agree with Jan. There's something to be said about bulletin board material. I think
it's worse if it comes from a coach, though.
A coach, coaches are a little different. All right. Mm-hmm. So that Gamecock guy podcast, 41. He's got a good prediction. 41. 2 passing, 2 rushing touchdowns, 3 field goals, and a pick 6.
My guts tell defensive or a special teams touchdown in this game. I think that's going to happen.
Special teams.
One or the other. I'm not saying both, but one or the other will happen.
I got you. Brian says the new Predator movie, The Prey, on Hulu, and is bad. Yeah, a lot of my friends have recommended that to me too. I think I've got that on the schedule, like maybe Labor Day while I'm taking a nap.
Yeah, it is good. Yeah, worth a watch.
Is it good? Is it good?
Mm-hmm. No, I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm.
Come on, Gamecocks, we got to win so much that JC's new motto becomes long hair don't care. All right. Hey, here's my boy Andrew Power. Yeah, former Gamecock tight end. Andrew.
Andrew.
Show. What's up? Good to hear from you. Hope Chuck's doing well. I talked to Charles the other day. That's my boy, Myrtle Beach's finest. He says, what's up, my guy? Congrats on the show. Good stuff. Good to hear from you, Andrew. You're the man. That Spur intro was great. Yeah, shoot. So Dabo, here's something from Bradley here. Dabo in his game press conference said NIL is part of the education process at Clemson. NIL is not professionalizing.
You know, one of the best things that happened that we found out with that interview with Hillary and Chance yesterday was that this is being privately funded because I could hear the screams just piercing through the orange fog if, state money were used for
state money for this.
Yeah, well,
$40.
Might as well just be cutting them checks.
Hey, I think it's hilarious. Y'all are talking about paying players up there.
Yeah, right.
I think that's hilarious. I think that's a cool story, bro. Cool story, man. Clemson, it's interesting because their collective raised a significant amount of money. But my understanding from talking to some of those folks is that it made Ep.20 donations. It's kind of one or the other, and some Ep.20 people quit giving and gave to that. Look, man, I agree with Dabo. You got to value education, right? But I also,
of course,
I think in today's world, we're quickly finding out that the value of a college education is huge for some people, and for some people, it's not. Some people don't probably. Sure, they can graduate with a degree from college, but then they can't make any money because they're not good at anything. I think in general, that's probably a very 15 years ago kind of statement that Dabo made. And it's probably not reality. Although I'm not going to sit here and talk about Dabo's heart. God, that would be that belongs on like the Clemson Insider or something. An article called Dabo's Heart. And I'm not going to try to judge his heart or anything, but if it's legit that he cares that much about education and kids and all that, I don't disagree with valuing things like he does, and it not becoming professional football. But on what planet, if that's and look, I just read something from Bradley. I don't know if he was taking a shot at Carolina or not. But on what planet, when you're getting an education, do you not want to work? And the folks that when I went to college, Phil, the folks that got jobs, good jobs out of college, actually did internships. They went out in the real world and got experience.
Well, that's the degree is one thing, JC, but the biggest value in college is the networking.
Yes,
building your network.
Yes, building your network and acquiring skills, and and being able to watch Jeopardy. Because that's what you learn. But on what planet is what South Carolina's doing not educational? Because you get to work hand in hand with professionals that do it at the highest level. And who's to say that this won't turn into an opportunity for players that are wanting to get into the agency business or the sports marketing business. I mean, it's almost when you say stuff like that, if that is a shot at what Carolina's doing, it's almost like you're trying to limit these guys. Yeah. Oh, well, they're not going to be a sports agent or anything like that. Well, who the hell are you to say that? I mean, I think the colleges that work for people are that work in life. The college experience that works in life are the ones that expose you to the real world the most.
Yeah,
I think, and this NIL thing is definitely a real world experience for Carolina student athletes. And like I said, I don't know that Dabo was taking a shot at Carolina, but part of the educational process. Well, what do you think Carolina's doing? I mean, it's not. I don't know what the context was, but I mean, they're and look, Clemson's got some good media, and they got some media that are trolls. So I don't know who asked the question, but it may have been planted, whatever. If Chance does get the job, maybe he convinced Mike Morgan to come back. Maybe a nice NIL package for Mike. Mike Morgan, NIL, buddy.
That's right. Yeah, he loves talking about it.
Close man says, hopefully we can recruit Mazio Bennett and Cam Pringle, in-state guys. Mazio, pretty good. Pringle, man, is still looking good for Carolina. Obviously, I do think that as time moves forward, you're going to look at Ohio State, you're going to look at Georgia, you're going to look at schools like that, Alabama coming in on him. So the Gamecocks may need to kind of weather the storm, but you know what? Alabama tried to flip Brandon Shell in the 11th hour too, and did that work? No.
Mm-hmm.
Clemson was revolutionary in the NIL space decades ago. Absolutely, it was cutting edge. You didn't have to give your name, image, and likeness at all.
Nope.
Those cars just kind of showed up, right?
Yeah. Danny Ford still.
Very proud. What a young man. I want to thank Fowler Chevrolet. Man, it's weird because as time's moved on, I love Danny Ford. And they say there's a bar or a sandwich shop or something over in Pickens. They serve beer, and they say, "Old Danny Pendleton. You can go over there." Lunchtime, sometimes Danny's in there. It's had about 4 or 5 Miller Lights. He'll tell stories all day, man. That'd be an amazing experience.
Well, that would be fun. Yeah, I mean, that's worth it.
Hang out with Danny. We should get let's get Danny Ford on the show. Week of the Clemson game. Let's do that. Well, I doubt. I don't know if Danny could stream.
Oh God, I can only imagine walking through that.
It'll be awesome. It'll be awesome. So, all right. So we've caught up on the Nana's Porch chat box. Tyler, welcome back in. Tyler Ballou, he says, hadn't seen y'all since the JB and Goldwater days. Well, that's good. And then Nick says he wants an innovative design with just feathers all over the helmet and the jersey number. Quite interesting there. That's Sean Elliott during his tenure. They wore a feathered helmet that looked like kind of the Philadelphia Eagles that one game. Most people don't like that one. I didn't mind it so much. So, all right, we're going to catch up on the iHelp Consulting Mailbag when we get back. I promise. Thanks to all you that were in here on the chat box. And we'll be back after these messages.
If you're looking to sell or buy multifamily property right here in South Carolina, the Burgesson team of RE/MAX at the Lake can help you get to closing fast and easy. Adam and Derek Burgesson both are very proud Gamecocks and are more than happy to assist you with any of your commercial real estate needs all across the state. You can email Adam at aburgesson@remax.net. That's ABERGESON at remax.net to get your next deal underway. The Burgesson team, proud sponsors of Inside the Gamecocks.
Attention golfers of all ages and skill sets. Former Gamecock golfer Meredith Taylor will be a full-time golf instructor in the Midlands of South Carolina very, very soon. You want to take advantage of this opportunity. If you're like me and you got to get a whole lot better at golf, or even if you're looking to refine your swing, Meredith is the person you need to go to. She's competing in her final USGA Mid-Amateur Tournament this summer before going full-time into teaching and coaching individuals. If you're in South Carolina, Meredith will be conducting in-person golf lessons at the Country Club of Lexington, hour on course. She'll play 9 or 18 with you. If you're out of state, though, this is really exciting. She'll be conducting virtual lessons. You can send in your swing for her expert analysis. Also, in November, she'll launch an online course with video instruction for all ages and skill levels. Meredith has 20-plus years of knowledge, former SEC golfer, all of that. So contact her on Twitter at MerTaylor, at MERTAYLOR, or go to McKellarEnterprises.org. McKellar spelled MCKELLAR, Enterprises.org. Her email's on the website, so you can connect with her for any other questions. Go get your golf game in order. Take advantage of Meredith Taylor and her services.
Family vacations, a new car, a new boat, all cost money, but you don't necessarily have to make more to afford any of that if you can save cash that's flying out the window now. iHelp Consulting can help you finally get the kids to Disney World, upgrade the minivan, or drop that new boat in the water next summer. Let Daniel and iHelp Consulting consult with you. No fees, just savings. You pay them a percentage of those savings. Save on essential services, credit card fees, you name it. Let them find it. These folks are incredible. iHelpConsulting.com. How can I help you?
Hey folks, JC here. I've told you about Nana's Porch over and over again. They sponsor our chat box on the show. Don't take my word for it, though. I wanted you to hear from Gamecock pitcher Noah Hall about our sponsor, Nana's Porch. nanasporch.com. Go there. Food truck, catering, whatever you need. Take it away, Noah.
What's up, Gamecock fans? This is pitcher Noah Hall. If you want some delicious food for your event, I suggest visiting nanasporch.com today to find out what they all have to offer. It's really good Southern cuisine based out of Charlotte, my hometown. I hope you guys go check it out. Go Cox and go Nanas.
Hey, man, are you sick and tired of your business computer guy?
Yes, he takes forever to call me back and doesn't always respond to the requests.
Yeah, same here. I'm paying him good money. I constantly have issues, and I'm worried he's not backing up my network and securing it properly.
Oh, I feel that, man. My head hurts, but I have a good lead on a good idea. I'm calling your boy Matthew Odom today from Heritage Digital. Heritage Digital is an IT firm that specializes in making sure your IT network runs like a dream. If you have 1 or 500 employees, it doesn't matter. They do it all for one monthly fee and have clients from South Carolina all the way to California.
Yeah, I heard that monthly fee's low too, so I don't know why I didn't even think of that. Do you have 843-699-1001 as Matt's contact number?
Yeah, man, I sure do that. Or you can go to heritagedigital.com.
Man, I hear they do a no-cost assessment. Boy, this will help me.
Yeah, I bet.
I'm getting on that and encouraging everyone else to do the same. Heritage Digital, 843-699-1001 or heritagedigital.com, a proud sponsor of Inside the Gamecocks, the show.
What's up? This is Jaheim Bell with the Gamecocks, and you're now listening to Inside the Gamecocks show with JC and Phil.
Welcome back, everybody.
I love Mohammed Kaba, Noah Hall, Jaheim Bell.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, by the way, they appear courtesy of Carolina Rise. All right, so and hour number 2 is sponsored by the Burgesson team at RE/MAX at the Lake. Multi-family housing, commercial real estate, those are your people to go to. Proud Gamecocks. Be sure to contact them and do business with them if you are into that industry. So you got residential with Cindy in the upstate, and then you got the Burgess team statewide for commercial all over the great state of South Carolina. Phil, tell them about Manscaped.
Right. We are presented by Manscaped, best in men's below the waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision engineered tools for your family jewels. They recently launched the ultimate men's hygiene bundle, the Performance Package. JC and I both love it. Join over 5 million worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code BIGSPUR at manscaped.com. Get 20% off with the code BIGSPUR at manscaped.com. And unlock your confidence, as always, with the right tools for the right job with Manscaped.
Code Big Spur, 20% off, free worldwide shipping. Manscaped support. A lot of people ask me, how can they support the show? You can do that. The best thing you can possibly do, besides Nana's Porch and
support the sponsors.
Support the sponsors, but right now, immediately, the best thing you can do to keep us robust, to keep us up and going, is to get some Manscaped, man. Get some Manscaped and use that code Big Spur, because we won't get credit for it, and you won't get the discount.
Yeah, that's right. You won't get 20% off and free shipping.
There you go. One of our long-term, my first sponsor ever on this podcast was iHelp Consulting. Daniel does a great job. He can save your business a ton of money if you just give him a call. And Daniel, very exciting news, and probably talk more about this later. He's got some more businesses he's opening, so I'm hopeful that I can tell you about those in the near future. Mitchell is in. All right, so all right, I'm going to start with the emails today in the iHelp Consulting Mailbag, Phil, because we're behind on these, and then I'm going to go to Twitter. But there's two ways you can get in: inside the Gamecocks at gmail.com, or you can tweet to at the Big Spur Pod. Mitchell comes in. JC and Phil, hope all is well. Had a question regarding the Gamecocks offensive staff, particularly Freddie Kitchens. I'll be honest, I was and still am concerned when USC hired Kitchens, especially with his head coaching days with the Browns, and how JC mentioned multiple times how USC should not run a pro-style offense. Besides helping coaches out, why would USC make this hire? Even though the Gamecocks can't do a pro-style offense to have long-term success, thanks for all you do. Well, an analyst, see, a lot of people, I think, have misinterpreted, Phil, the Freddie Kitchens hire.
Yeah.
A lot of people have kind of gone, well, he's there in case of emergency, break glass.
Yeah, he's plan B. Yeah.
Plan B. And a lot of people think that. Analysts are there to coach the coaches. Freddie Kitchens knows a lot of football, man. I don't really care how his head coaching experience with the Browns went and all that. I mean, there are plenty of guys that are very successful in college football that go to the pros and can't win, especially with the dang Cleveland Browns. I mean, they were good this past year, but
he got the best out of Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I mean, and so what I think he's there for, like, in other words, here's what Freddie Kitchens is going to do. He's going to sit there and help the defense. Because he's going to sit there and watch the defense and tell the defense how he'd attack them. All right. So it's almost role playing, right? When it comes to an analyst, self-scouting, that kind of thing. So he's going to sit there and watch the defense and be like, well, here's what I'd do to stop. Oh, I didn't think of that, in football, it's just all about making sure you cover your butt in all kinds of contingencies. As far as the pro style offense goes, there's a difference between, like, when I used to say that, and I still do say that, you can't get an I formation at South Carolina and run it 30 times a game and do play action from under center and have a big lumbering back there at quarterback that's just a lead foot, Blake Bortles type. I mean, that doesn't work, because you're never going to get the personnel to do it. Georgia can get by with it. Even Alabama decided they weren't going to do it anymore. Now, Alabama runs a pro-style offense, Mitchell. Does it look like what we used to think about when we thought about a pro-style offense? No. It looks like a lot of fun, really.
Yeah.
And as the pro game has evolved to the point where, you can have a Cliff Kingsbury as a head coach in that league now and be somewhat successful, an air raid guy. There are elements of the pro offenses that are almost more innovative than college. The issue becomes, are you teaching it like a pro style, like the pros do? And because there's not enough time in the week to do it. You have to Bill O'Brien, in other words, at Alabama, coaches Alabama offensively so much differently than he would coach the Texans because those pro guys get there at 7 and they're there till 7 at night prepping for the game. They're pro.
No class.
Yeah, there's no class. I mean, in college, you get a few hours, 20 hours a week, and 3 of it's the game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing about it. I wouldn't be concerned. I think Freddie's going to be a positive simply because, look, Freddie and Shane are very good friends. And they've been friends since I got to know Shane when he was at Carolina the first time. I mean, I still remember exchanging texts with him back then. And I don't exchange texts with the head coach now because he's the head coach, right? But back then, he's out in Arizona hanging out with Freddie and Bruce Arians and those guys. And Shane went around and visited with a lot of people, but I remember knowing they were really good friends. Also, Freddie's daughter is an equestrian athlete at Carolina, and I think it's nothing but a positive that he's there. As far as his play calling abilities, offensive coordinator, whatever, that's not his job right now. And we'll cross that bridge if and when we come to it. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully Marcus has a really, really good year this year. He's got good enough plays. I'll say that, and good enough players. So there's that. All right, Phil, you want to read the next one?
Yeah, let's see. Who are we coming in with? Philip Mountbatten.
Yeah.
Who was
Soda City. Yeah.
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 That's the name of the late Queen's consort. Philip Mountbatten. Yeah. But JC, Phil, thanks for putting the show together. I've been listening every day and the content has been great. Thank you. Loved hearing from Georgia State Insider as well as from guys like JB and Keith. Wanted to quickly apologize for getting into it with somebody on the Big Spur. Somebody just rubs him the wrong way, makes the board hot. Yeah, it happens. People, hey, get a couple of drinks and start typing away, right? But he's got a question about our opinion on offensive styles. What do you think the pros and cons of a system like Josh Heupel's versus a more pro style like us, UGA, or Bama run? I love to hear Satterfield Beamer talk about how you choose one offensive system over the other. Thanks for all you do, and go Cox. 4 days till game day. So it's been a couple of days, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a brilliant question. And here's the thing. This is going to sound crazy. It looks like fun. I'm not a fan of what Heupel does.
Yeah, no.
And you watch Tennessee this year, and maybe I'm not right. Maybe I'll be wrong. Watch their defense. Watch how their offense utterly does not give a flying flip about their defense. And they're not very good on defense talent-wise either now.
Right.
See.
Mm-hmm. Well, that compounds when you're playing against big offensive lines in the SEC. That's got to wear those guys down. You just know they get gassed.
Yeah, no doubt. And so there's that. But the kind of that same system is the same system that Lane Kiffin runs. And now with Lebby at Oklahoma, is Lane going to revert back to what Lane did at Alabama, or is he going to keep? It's all the Art Briles system, right? Those fun college offenses, the best, and I've always been intrigued by this. And last year was the first year, because I don't count 2020 because nobody played defense.
Yeah.
But last year was the first year I went, aha. I always thought Dan Mullen's offense at Florida was the best thing you could run in the SEC because you could do a dual threat quarterback, you can do a pro style quarterback, you spread the field and throw, you can attack the perimeter, you can power run game. You really got everything. That's the Urban Meyer spread option, right? That's Dan Mullen. Everybody gave Urban credit for it, but that was Dan Mullen. Excuse me, I have the hiccups a little bit here. So I always thought that was the best you could run. But I was always intrigued by what Art Briles did, because what's important to me, in my opinion, for an SEC offense is the ability to run the ball. I don't care how you do it, but you got to be able to run the ball. That's a proven fact. And Briles always did that at Baylor. I'll never forget he had a wide receiver at quarterback in the bowl game against North Carolina in 2015. They rushed for like 600 yards. Hey, here's a secret: North Carolina's soft. So Heupel runs one variation of it, which is super duper go fast. Arkansas with Kendall Browse, they're a little different. They're more power run oriented, and they do go fast, and they're creative and all that. And then Lane Kiffin and Jeff Lebby run something totally different, more of a passing type of thing. I've always thought those styles of offenses were the best to run. Now, you mentioned Marcus Satterfield and the pro style system. If you evolve kind of like Alabama, there's nothing wrong with a pro style system. To do what Georgia does, and I thought Todd Monken was masterful at play calling and personnel use and all that last year. Boy, you better be good.
Yeah.
You better have stud running backs. You better have a great offensive line. You better have a quarterback that can run it. So that's the difference there. All right, moving on. Since we're running out of time yet again. Here we go. Offensive styles. Thanks, Philip, for chiming in.
Yeah.
Matt Snyder from Boston for Beantown, right? JC,
Yeah.
loving the daily show up here in Boston. Keeps me stay connected with my Gamecocks and have a piece of home in the Northeast. Appreciate what you guys are doing. Is this my decades of Gamecock fandom talking, or just expecting the worst? Or am I justified in being incredibly nervous about this first game? It has all the makings of an upset to me. Strong running game, lots of players on the roster from the state. Sean Elliott, returning starters, former Gamecock at running back. I think we're an incredibly improved team and will ultimately win, but I can't shake being nervous about it. All those intangibles, Beantown, Matthew. I'm going to call you Beantown. How about that? We're going to give nicknames here on the show. I get all those intangibles certainly are things that are noteworthy. I think it comes down to, though, the reason you got to be nervous is this is a good football team. Georgia State has a good football team. They've won 6 out of their last 7 games going back to last year. They got accustomed to winning after sort of a slow start. Sean Elliott is a good coach. They have good athletes. They have good players. And it is a shot for them to taste that sweet, sweet victory like they tasted against Tennessee a couple years ago. But I'm going to say this. The culture on that Tennessee football team at the beginning of that year and the attitude of some of those guys and the quarterback, Garantano, and all that, they're not at this Carolina team's level. Now, they did rally. That, and credit to them and that team that year at Tennessee. They rallied and won the last 6 games that season after losing. Yeah. They lost to not only Georgia State, they lost to BYU, Tyson Williams, anyway, so I think this Carolina team is out with something to prove, right? And I think that should make you feel a little better. All right, Justin says, awesome interview with Chance and Hillary, amazing minds and the kind of forward thinking the Gamecocks need. I noticed they were both complimentary of Carolina Rise. So as a member, that inspired a question. Obviously, you have to go through the university for deals. How does that process work? Just for an example, with Gigi being able to approach him with the idea, where does that start? And how does it get to finish? No trade secrets, just a basic run through the process. It just depends. With Carolina Rise, what we do, we just go, hey, we want to pay you to do XXX promotional, and it's all promotions with us. We don't really get into content or anything like that, and we'll pay you X. And it's kind of simple, we don't really even have to go through the university to do it. So that's that. Now, if you are a business and you want to hook up with a specific player and do a deal, that's either going to be through the exchange or with this new marketing company they're bringing in. Now, we do help businesses, but it's more of a wham bam, one shot deal with our affiliated Carolina Rise businesses. So that's kind of how it works. But as far as that goes, and I'll be honest, everybody's kind of still feeling their way out in all this, Justin. I also appreciate you being a member of Carolina Rise. That's still very, very important. for a number of reasons with Carolina in the NIL space. All right. Noah wants to know about playoff picks. He's got Utah in the playoff. I'll tell you that right now. We're going to discuss that, me and Phil, tomorrow, and give you our playoff picks. Because we're going to cheat and watch these games tonight and probably pick Pittsburgh to go to the office.
Right.
Anyway.
Next thing you know, we're picking Mizzou to go all the way.
By the way, one more final shot. I'm going to remind you, manscaped.com, code Big Spur. Tiffany, this is the best way to end the show. Let's just put Tiffany's little, up there. All right, Tiff. She says, as a woman, I'm a huge fan of Manscaped. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
That's
20% off. Code Big Spur, free shipping.
Yeah, don't take it from us. Take it from Tiffany.
Take it from Tiffany. Help us out. Get a T-shirt or something. Anyway, thanks.
Oh, and just to acknowledge Zach, since he's listening, he's on Twitter. We know that we all make mistakes, but just Todd's funny.
Oh, is Zach upset because we're making fun of Todd?
So he's like, y'all constantly crack on Todd Ellis, but I hear JC make mistakes on people's names multiple times every show. Yeah, bro, we all do it.
Yeah. And,
I called Barry Odom Dave Odom the other day. I mean,
come on, man. It's entertainment, brother.
That's right. Yeah. Hey, we're all just laughing. And hey, Todd's on our team, so nobody's hating Todd.
Zach, you were in the I don't give a damn if you listen category. How about that? How about you go listen to reruns of Carolina calls?
That escalated quickly.
Anyway. Oh man.
We will only accept criticisms of that nature, Zach. Care of 1060 West Addison, Chicago, Illinois 60613. Thank you.
For Phil Mullinax, this is JC Sherbert. Appreciate Brad Crawford, Chris Phillips. About to jump on the Spurs Up show in 13 minutes. Don't forget, you can always get this show. By the way, I'm not a professional play-by-play guy. I don't get paid to do play-by-play. I actually have nightmares about it. Zach. Anyway, for Philip Mullinax, this is JC Sherbert. About to jump on the Spurs Up show. Thank you to Brad Crawford and to Chris Phillips for joining us today. A lot of fun. This show, tomorrow's Friday, folks. One more show before we kick it all off for real. Please enjoy the games tonight. I know I'm going to. And thank you so much for listening. We appreciate you guys tuning into the show each and every day. All right, that's it. We're out, and talk to you soon.